Hello. So today's video I want to do on um, finding your deity. I know that a lot of people, especially fresh in this path, the newcomers to the path, I find that I belong to a lot of pages on Facebook, and the biggest question that I see is, how do I know which deity I want to work with? How do you find that out? And so I figured I would make today's video on some ways that you can incorporate into your life to help you find the deity that you want to work with. And so we'll start with, first I want to say this doesn't happen overnight. If you happen to have a deity calling to you, you are extremely lucky, because searching your deity and trying to find which one you connect with does not happen overnight. So I just want to point that out. Don't rush it. Be patient. It will come to you, and they will come to you. Excuse me, I am a little sick, so I just want to point that out. So if I cough a bunch of times, I'm sorry. But also, I want to point out as well that if you do find the deity that you want to work with, or deities, if there's more than one, your deity may change over time, and not meaning that the deity that you're working with changes, like themselves, but the deity that you may want to work with, or you may find that a deity calls to you, a different one, even from a different pantheon completely. So don't be closed to working with just one specific pantheon, because over time you may find that another deity is reaching out to you. This actually happened to me recently. I've always worked with the Egyptian pantheon. I've always been extremely connected to that pantheon, and the only deities that I've ever worked with, for the most part, have been Egyptian. And recently I started to get called by Hecate. So that was different for me because I'm not knowledgeable about her, and I don't know much about, who she is, what she represents, and why she wanted to work with me. So definitely still trying to figure that out. So I'm trying to learn about her slowly before I jump in. Next is, ask yourself, what culture are you particularly drawn to? Are you drawn to, let's say if you connect particularly with the Greek pantheon, then you might want to look up Greek deities and see which ones you are connected to the most. If you are, and Greek and Roman are actually very similar. You'll find that a lot of the deities, what they represent are much the same. So Greek and Roman deities, you'll find that a lot. So like, for instance, Aphrodite and Venus. So, those are deities that are much the same. Okay, so next is, I have my little notes here to keep me on track. If you do find that you are particularly drawn to a particular pantheon, this could represent, I'm not saying that it definitely means this, but it could represent or mean that you have had a past life in this culture, if you feel particularly drawn and you can't explain why. So just keep that in mind too. Maybe you're being pulled back into experiences that you have had during a different life. The next thing that you should look into is your ancestry or your background. Excuse me. A lot of people don't know what their true background is, and now they have like these ancestry kits and like these DNA kits where you send out your DNA and they send you this this printout of all of your ethnicities and where your ancestors come from. I think that's fantastic. And look at that, because let's say if you have a Celtic background, you may want to look at the Celtic pantheon and see if anything pulls or draws to you. So just keep that in mind. That might be a way to go, and a way to look at how to find your deity. Start paying attention to everything around you. If a deity is calling to you and trying to get your attention, they're going to start throwing you signs. And sometimes they're not really attention grabbing. Sometimes they're very subtle. So you definitely want to pay attention, especially if you are already actively searching for a deity that you want to work with, or you feel like you want to make the perfect choice um, at this point in your path. So just pay attention. Reoccurring patterns in numbers or symbols. Are you seeing any particular animal more often than usual? This may be a specific god or goddess calling to you. For instance, Jupiter is associated with eagles. He has an eagle that sits on top of his scepter. And so if you see eagles a lot, this could be Jupiter calling to you. Excuse me. If you are seeing more cats everywhere, or you're more drawn, like you have always been a cat person, or maybe you haven't always been a cat person, all of a sudden you have this, like, you know, this obsession with cats, or you feel more connected to cats. This could be Boss or Bastet calling to you. So just pay attention to things around you and what might be changing and what might be different for you. All right. Mixing pantheons. You may feel drawn to a goddess from one pantheon and a god from another. Follow your gut on this. I personally do not mix pantheons. I like to keep my god and goddess from the same pantheon, but with that being said, know who you're working with, because there are gods and goddesses within one pantheon that do not they don't get along. That's very well the case for Egyptian pantheon. I can't work with two particular gods because one killed the other. So I have to make sure I work with them separately. If I choose to work with the other one. But one of the gods I work with is Osiris. So I have to keep him separated from the other. So it may be easier to work with a god and goddess from the same pantheon, but you may find it easier to work with a god and goddess that is from different pantheons. You have to do what's right for you and what your gut is telling you. Just make sure that they play nice. That's important. They play nice, and you know that you want to pick ones that aren't going to be hostile to one another, or to you, for that matter. Do your research before choosing. Know completely and thoroughly who you will be working with. Some goddesses they're hard, and they are firm, and they are strict in their beliefs, and some goddesses expect something, how you present yourself, and how you, not that you have to be, this on the straight and narrow all the time. I mean, they want us to have fun, and they want us to enjoy life. Working with some, though, there's an expectation of behavior and respect, and how you show them respect. So just keep this in mind and know who you're working with. Be very thorough in researching them, and that's exactly why I have not started working with Hecate yet, because I want to make sure I know the ins and outs before I involve myself in work with her. I want to make sure I have the utmost respect and I'm knowledgeable. If you feel drawn to a particular deity, talk to them. Ask for answers and ask them to come to you and ask for guidance. If you feel drawn to a specific, like I'll tell you just real quick from personal experience, how Hecate started coming to me was in dreams. And I was having dreams of her, and I couldn't understand why, because I had never worked with her, and it was becoming more and more frequent. So, and then as in my waking life, I started to think, I was thinking about her. She was popping into my thoughts throughout the day. And this is how I knew that she was calling to me. And I still have yet to figure out why. But like I said, I want to make sure I know who I'm working with before I work with her, because um, Hecate is one of those deities that she's she's hard, but she's good. Like her when you work with her, she is good to you. So, um, but just want to make sure I do it right. Meditate and be aware and listen for messages from them. So, I'm sorry. So, becoming more one with yourself and knowing who you are and meditating on that, and then meditating on finding your deity, um, answers will come to you more frequently and more easily because you're going to be more aware and you're going to be enlightened. So meditation is a great way to, find a deity to work with. Once you feel you have found your deities, honor them. You don't have to go, crazy. You don't have to go some people think that you have to follow this strict book and rules and all of this business. And honestly, you can honor them in the simplest of ways, and they appreciate it. Just leave them an offering and, thank them for, participating in the work that you do with them. It's very simple, and just have respect when working with them. A relationship takes time to build, and it is no different with your goddess and your god. So I can't stress this enough. You would never get into a relationship and get married the day that you met the person. You would never get married the same day you met someone. So why, be absolutely committed when you are first working with a god and goddess? Because, you don't want to commit yourself, and then, 3 weeks, a month, 6 months later, you realize this is not the goddess that you, or god that you want to work with. And like I said in the beginning, that may change. You may work with a god and goddess for a particular amount of time, and then another god or goddess may call to you. You may want to change paths. That's fine. Just make sure that if you know that you understand that it takes time to build the relationship between the both of you. And the best way to do this, to build the relationship, is talking to them every day. Have objects that they would enjoy on the altar and their respective sides. Make a morning, nightly, or both rituals where you honor them. I have very simple ritual that I do in the morning, and I have a very simple ritual that I do in the evening before I go to bed. You can either use a candle, or you don't have to use a candle. You can use your words and your energy. Your thought is enough. Your energy is enough. You don't have to go crazy. Remember, we are the most important tool in this path. We really are. You can have your athame and your wand and your cauldron and your candles and all of this great stuff. But remember that you are. The magic is within us. We use these tools to direct the energy and the magic that we are creating. So we are the most important tool, because the magic and the energy comes within us. So the most important thing to do when you have these little rituals, it can be very simple. It's all about energy, and it's all about intent and your respect and honoring them. So at first you may feel silly. Maybe you feel like you're not doing it right, or it needs to be elaborate. But keeping it simple at first is best. Do not feel silly honoring your deities. Also, just because you found your deities, don't stop listening, because others may call to you, which I had already mentioned. But don't feel silly talking to them. If there's other people in your home, you could talk softly. You don't have to yell it from the rooftop. You can speak softly. You can, do something short, sweet, and simple. It doesn't have to be elaborate. Like I said, it can be very simple. The key here is to, doing it elaborate is great if that's what you want to do. But all the deities want is your true self. and they can see past all the bullshit. No lie. If you sit there and you feel like you have something to prove, okay, then that's not the right way to do it. And I'm not trying to say that there's a right way or a wrong way, but if the only reason why you feel you have to do this elaborate ritual is to show that you have something to prove, then that's not the way. The way is to be honest and true to yourself and present yourself, your raw self, your true self, and honoring them. So I hope this was helpful, and I hope that those who have not found their deity, I hope that this was um, good information for you, and I hope this is a very, very fruitful path for you, because I know it is for me. I know it is for many, many Wiccans, and I wish you all the best in finding your deities if you have not found one, and love and light, my friends.